reception. What do we have in the big story segment this morning? Well, Dr. Haughton, a prospective candidate for the People's National Party, the PNP, in St. James West Central, has welcomed a Supreme Court injunction barring the St. James Municipal Corporation from removing campaign signs belonging to the PNP candidates. And the court's decision affirms the candidates' belief that their signs were lawfully erected and taken down unlawfully. Dr. Haughton, along with Senator Janice Allen and Alan Bernard, expressed satisfaction with the ruling, calling it a victory for the people. This morning, as we've been telling you, we do have Dr. Haughton with us as a very special guest in the Big Story segment. Good morning, Dr. Haughton. How are you doing today?
Good morning to you, Sir Richie B. Good morning to your listeners as well. I'm okay. How are you guys?
I am doing well, and we all are doing well, and happy to hear from you. We haven't had a conversation like this in a minute, but I see you've been putting in some work down there in St. James. In fact, that is where you're from. You're from St. James, right, Doc?
Yeah, man. I'm from St. James, born and grown, and that is predominantly one of the main reasons why I decided to start running from there, Get the support from home first.
Absolutely. Now, I want you to take me back to when this whole matter that we're going to be talking about started. Were you on location, or was it a case where members of your team were out there putting up your signage when the municipal...
no, I just came out of a meeting, and somebody messaged me, and they said that if I see my posters big, and a picture going up in a police jeep, and I was laughing because I was like, stop the nonsense, where do you get that from?
Yes.
And we were having a conversation, and I said, yeah, I see it on the news. And I said, send it come. And they sent the message, and I couldn't believe, I felt so victimized because, as you know, I'm an academic, and being an academic, I'm not used to entanglements with the law, I didn't take that route.
Mm-hmm.
So, seeing my picture being arrested, that's the closest I've ever come to, literally being arrested. So it was sort of traumatizing. So I called the mayor.
Mm-hmm.
I called him and said, "What's up? What going on? How can I think that, my lord? You get me? I can't take down my thing them. Put up what my thing them." And start talk about, it's their regulations and this and that or whatever, and then we say, all right, so when I have to talk to my lawyer, and he say, okay, so I say, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
Then we wrote them a letter along, they call them in law opinion case or opinion pieces,
yes,
where you gather all the information about the particular case and put it together and, just state to the party that you have built a case and they are wrong. So before we go to the court, this is our opinion, and so on and so forth. They convene a meeting, and when they convene a meeting, I didn't go, I sent my lawyer, because I thought that this attempt is trying to distract me from the real campaigning. So after getting the lawyer, I paid no attention to it whatsoever because I had to be focused on the ground, on the politics itself, rather than being distracted by their actions. Anyway, my lawyer went to the meeting, and then after the meeting, they said that they had all the grounds and we were wrong, and whatever the case may be. So we decided to pursue the matter in court.
Mm-hmm.
And then we wrote to the Supreme Court explaining our case. And then they had 3 different court hearings via Zoom. Mm-hmm. And the last one was when they decided that the parish council were at fault and they should leave our posters alone until further notice.
Mm-hmm. What specific aspects of the actions of the municipal corporation did you find most concerning, Dr. Haughton?
I had a poster right there by West Green where in the mornings people drive past and they would call me and say, I see a poster, how are you doing? And we like the work you're putting in, whatever the case may be. And that was the first poster that they removed. And it was very disheartening for me because their posters have been there since the last election. Even though they removed ours from the last election, we had no problem with the posters that they had up because, they are just trying to promote themselves. And even though they are in power and we are seeking power, we just didn't have a problem with them. With them now, looking at my poster, feeling grudgeful about the efforts that I've been making because they have been doing a lot of annoying stuff, They throw stones in my vehicle out there in Catherine Hall, and they cut out my name out of my poster at Long Hill and cut out my name from out my poster, and it's some neat cut, so it's sanctioned by them. It's not like a haphazard cut or some neat cut, so. They are becoming annoying now, man.
It's the first time first time I'm hearing about that. Stuff like that. Do you take those kinds of reports to the ombudsman, and are they being investigated?
We took the major one, which is the taking down of the flyers.
Mm-hmm.
I was really just observing to see how far they are planning to take this. Because I'm not a quote unquote in Jamaican terms an informer. I wasn't grown with that particular culture. I was brought up with an observational culture. I'm a researcher. So sometimes I observe before I escalate, but they're getting out of hand now. Very, very out of hand. So we had to take this one up with the law.
So from the get-go, you obviously were not buying the argument about it's not election campaign season as yet, and so posters should not be put up. You were not taking that at all, I suspect.
No, because we read the act, this particular act, we read it, and it said 4 years, 6 months, and a day. So when we calculated 4 from September 3rd or 7th, it was, and a day would bring us to about March 8th or something like that. Mm-hmm. So the law says 4 years, 6 months, and a day after the last election.
Mm-hmm.
So ours were put up, I think, in the first week of April because we gave it some time to breeze off, and then we'll put them up in April.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was sufficient time for us to be able to do it. And bear in mind that theirs have been there without disturbance, some of them since 2020, and then some from February 2024. So theirs have been there.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's just like they are malicious in their action.
Now, these posters, Dr. Haughton, they come at a cost, and I'm suspecting it's good money that it costs to create even one.
Yeah, man. Advertising in politics is not cheap. Is one of the most expensive budgetary item on our list. And those posters, and I think that's one of the main reasons too why they decided, because they are not the regular small 2x2s.
Mm-hmm.
They were like 4x8 or
8
something
by 4.
like that, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So they were big. So because we're trying to ensure that our supporters recognize my face and can associate my name with my face, we have them in some strategic locations, and I think that they just felt bad that they didn't think of those locations before us. So they probably had a meeting and said, listen, you got to go take down those posters. You can't have him broadcasting himself like that. You have to take them down.
So as it is now, those posters that were taken down, which we are agreed that they cost a lot of money, are they recoverable, and are they? Have you gotten them back?
They said they're recoverable.
Okay.
My lawyer and my campaign manager are supposed to go and retrieve them today. I think they made some attempts to reach out yesterday, but they weren't located. So this morning they are going to pursue them again. They got some news that they are in good condition, but we haven't seen them. So It's just like secondary information. But we're waiting to see what can be done and how soon we can recover them, so that we can reaffix them where they were in the first place.
Okay, so you plan to go back to those same locations and reclaim those spots?
Yeah, we need those locations because they are critical locations, you know. We want people to be able to, as a matter of fact, we're looking at some other ways of advertising throughout the city that they cannot tamper with anyway. So we are doing our homework, and we want to make sure that we present ourselves in the best way possible for our supporters to get familiar with us. Take Senator Allen, for example. She had some posters over there as well in some key locations, and they just critically disregarded the lady and took down our stuff. Now, come on. Everybody has the opportunity to advertise themselves. Why are they going to take down the lady's stuff and so on and so forth? My colleague Alan Bernard at the same time. I mean, I think that the young people in Montego Bay are waking up, and they are beginning to realize that they have others who are from their own upbringing, who have studied the process and has made themselves available to lead them down a positive path. And I think that this is now threatening their own political dominance that they have been having in the city for some time. And it's quite rightly so, because those of us who travel know what a tourism capital should look like. They know that the streets are well lit and it's well clean, and there are garbage facilities for you to dispose of garbage. There are public restrooms clean, public restrooms available. The beach is accessible to all the public, and there are people there making sure that the city itself is accommodating to the tourists. And if you look at Montego Bay, if it were not for the all-inclusive hotels and so on and so forth, then the city really has little to offer to its visitors. And it's really a shame. I think that is where the municipal corporation should put their energy. How do they generate income from each tourist that comes to the island? How do they then redirect this income into beautification processes, into erecting public restrooms, into lighting up the corridor from Harmony Beach Park right there at KFC, all the way past Aquasol, all the way to Margaritaville? How do they improve One Man Beach, not even with money, but just to clean the beach itself and ensure that the public facility is there for its people? I think it's a shame when I look at Montego Bay and how the city has been neglected, and the mayor believes that my poster is what is littering the place, when the place is rat infested all over and the market is dirty. It's just a shame. It's just a shame.
A lot of work still to be done, obviously, is what you're saying, Dr. Haughton.
And I don't want to say it. I want us to envision the city. You know, just take a deep breath and think about what a modern Montego Bay should look like. We're in 2025. I don't want to be putting anything in anybody's mind or anything like that. I want you in your own self to recognize that, come on, man, this city is far from where it ought to be, you know?
I hear you loud and clear. So as it is now, you can say that within, days you expect to be putting these posters back up?
Yeah, man, we want to get them up as soon as we get them back. And we want to play fair politics with these people.
Okay.
Fair politics.
Doc, you mentioned earlier that you are an academic. For those who do not know, what is your area of study? And by extension, should the People's National Party win the upcoming elections, do you have a particular area of interest in which you'd like to serve this country?
Yeah, man. I am a macroeconomist by profession. I specialize in productivity development and international finance, which is really looking at exchange rate movement, interest rate movement, and how these affect cross-border movement of capital and industry development. So right now, I am the Shadow Minister for Science, Technology, Innovation, and Entrepreneurship. And if and when we win, this is going to be the particular ministry. We have built out the TOR, and I have a task force we have some really good technological infusions for different industries that we want to penetrate, and we want to really give the young people a chance to explore their innovative capacity. Because now more than ever, you're talking about 2025, we are living in the future. The whole idea of the Internet of Things, blockchain, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data management, and so on are becoming key aspects of global economics and commerce. And we don't want Jamaica to be left behind, caught up in trivial leadership. We want our people to understand that the global economy is evolving on a rapid pace. And it's as if you're driving two vehicles. If someone is driving a Ferrari and you're riding a bicycle, if you are both at the beginning of the race at 8 a.m., by 9 a.m., they are going to be miles ahead of you. And if you talk about in the evening, they are going to be thousands of miles ahead of you. So we have to now begin to build our own Ferraris, so to speak, figuratively, literally, and productively, and also try to see how the capacity of our people can be engaged into productive activity. And this is what we are bringing to modern leadership for Jamaica. If you see what's happening across Africa, where the people are waking up and taking back their own resources and are using their resources to their own advantage, I think also us as Jamaicans must wake up and begin to take control of our own resources, how minimal or how maximum they might be. We have to begin to use them to the benefit of our communities and the advancement of our own economies, because we are capable just as China, we are capable just as India, we are capable just as Singapore and Seychelles and these counterparts. We are capable just as Burkina Faso to really do what is necessary to advance the potential of our people and for our diaspora to recognize that they have a role to play and they can migrate back home.
Doc, you've said a lot, and I really appreciate the thoughts, man. Thanks for your time this morning, and I wish you well going forward. All the best, all right?
Yes, thank you, and have a wonderful